Judge William Campanovo praised the poem, saying, "Simple, simply because of its obvious appreciation of imagination. The writer is able to conjure worlds while sitting in his or her armchair. But what I like about this is that the writer doesn't merely say it, he or she does it. The writer uses form, quatrains of rhymed couplets, to create art, the very thing he or she is celebrating. And I think that the rhymes are pretty sophisticated for middle school. These are sophisticated little rhymes that only enact the larger content of which the poem speaks." Isaac's poem is The Written World, and for those of you following along, it is on page 19. I now welcome Isaac Lerner.
Before I get started, I want to really quickly give some background, reflecting on Audrey's introduction to the English review. As she explained, where you're not really trying to create art when you actually write the poem. For instance, my poem, I wrote this trying to prove a point, saying that my sister, that books were good. She was, at the time we were in France, and she was complaining, "I don't want to do any more reading today." So I tried to write this poem to explain her reading is good. Here it is. It's called The Written World. I ride a horse in an endless field, while chased behind by blades of steel, or sail the seas in the eye of the storm, as my pirate ship hides gold and treasures of all form. I solve the mystery of an artifact found, while pursued by enemies over perilous ground, or fly through the air in a passing metropolis, and soar straight over the ancient Greek Acropolis. For hours on this armchair I can sit, a still body but an adrenaline-filled wit, for in my hands, within the binding, lives rough seas, flat plains, and endless findings.
This is to say that writing goes beyond abstract contemplation, and it invades the physical nuances of daily life. I admire you for your patience, for trudging through and keeping on with your craft, for wrestling with ideals and reality, and enriching your own life as you enrich the lives of others through your work. I want you to feel that, I actually need to check the number of pages before I say this.
And because no one asked him his name, they simply called him Mr. Mulligrum. Anytime animals would have to go past Mr. Mulligrum's property, they'd plug their noses. Mully never bathed or took out.
Then you came, and the war began. You killed my friends and family, leaving me alone.
This was almost a year ago. And we went, on the last day that we were there, we went up to Griffith Observatory. Some of you guys may have been there. And a few of you were actually with me there. And it's basically this high hill that looks out over the city. And this poem describes my reaction to that. But a while back, someone read my poem and thought that it sounded hopeless. And I think that what the judge was saying about my poem is that intrepidity, enterprise, and danger. Although the definition of a Homeric hero is more complicated, the basic idea holds.
And his absurdist piece, In Orbita. He is a sophomore at Slow Classical Academy High School whose interest in
Save for the asteroid that disrupted his regular path of sunlight that came every once a day, followed by the approximate 12 hours of almost complete darkness. Of course, there were the stars and the moon, but sometimes those were opposite him and behind the Earth, so therefore
Justice works because it toys with the idea of what is and is not a parable. Usually parables have have very linear, predictable morals. That is how we learn them. But this one sort of toys with
There was no path. As I neared the crossing, that man he started talking. "No, sir, don't tread on my bedclothes, and won't you stay out of what I grow?" This way and that I looked. There was not a way to obey. "I'm doing my best, sir," I hysterically cried. "We'll see what price the court has you pay." I begged and pleaded for 9 long days that the court would let me have my way. But Pharaoh did enjoy my praise.
If you have a hanging lantern ready, my essay starts on page 91. Homeric hero. While fighting is not a guaranteed honor, refusing to fight is a guarantee for shame. Honor was a driving force in the culture of ancient civilizations such as Greece and Troy, the setting of the Trojan War depicted by Homer in the Iliad. Honor was important to soldiers in the Trojan War, but most important to Homer and Hero.
I ride a horse in an endless field, while chased behind by blades of steel, or sail the seas in the eye of the storm, as my pirate ship hides gold and treasures of all form. I solve the mystery of an artifact found, while pursued by enemies over perilous ground, or fly through the air in a pass metropolis, and soar straight over the ancient Greek Acropolis. For hours on this armchair I can sit, a still body, but an adrenaline-filled wit. For in my hands, within the binding, lives rough seas, flat plains, and endless findings.
Also because I really feel moved whenever I read these terrible stories about the plight of veterans in America. Whenever I see a homeless veteran somewhere on the street, I say to myself, is this really how the people who lay down their lives to serve our country are rewarded upon the return? But I honestly feel this is an important topic that needs to be addressed, particularly by private organizations, some of which are mentioned in this paper. Anyhow, that's a bit of who I am, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to share a portion of my paper.
Sorry, I'm being pushy right now.
Alright, well, I titled my paper "A National Disgrace, the Failure of Our Nation to Address Veteran Suicides." For friends, families, and for these veterans themselves, the future is almost always bleak for the returning soldier. Having spent several years of his or her life learning how to and participating in killing, returning to a normal civilian life in 90
abilities of imagination, especially with the writing and reading of The White Page, as positive, as invigorating.
Sad, believing, wishing for more time. Promises of the future as the past dwindles away. Fear and happiness, anticipation and excitement. Bittersweet, an undecided mind. Wishing for simpler times, wanting to rush forward, darting out into life, only to turn around and hide. It takes courage to face the world. Courage I don't have. Courage I will create as I recreate myself.
This is the fear on page 69. Lucy taps her little silver ring against the side of the wooden church pew and tugs at her little black dress, squirming and wiggling around on my lap. Her curly blonde hair frames her round little face, making her large brown eyes seem almost black. She bites her lower lip and furrows her eyebrows, seeming very frustrated at everything and everyone. The dress she wears hangs loosely over her slight body, accents her eyes in contrast with her milky skin. She is convinced that our brother will come back, that he is just taking a break from the real world, as she had told me this morning. My mother sits 2 rows in front of us and slightly to the side. I can see her entire body shake as she sobs tears of pain and sorrow into my father's shoulder. Her light brown hair is tied up in a knot on top of her head, slicked back with hairspray and secured with bobby pins. I catch a glimpse of a shiny tear that falls down my father's scruffy and unshaven cheek, except his are set.
It's titled Protesilaus. The plunge, the dive, the landward cry and the skyward spray, your spear still flaring, the foremost in slinging yourself to adoration, your place among the masses, to hold, to speak, the first, the watchful, your center loves are holding you liable. The plaid, laces and twisted.
Works invite national authors and poets and put into our magazine, but if you contributed a piece this year and you didn't get published, all of the judges said repeatedly, it was so hard to choose, it was so hard to choose. They were so impressed by all of the pieces that were submitted, and they want to encourage all young people out here to keep writing, keep working at it. Success doesn't always happen overnight, either recognition at an event like this or what you deem as your own success on the page. It takes time and it takes practice, and you guys are all on your way there. I wanted to give one final acknowledgement to two young ladies who put an incredible amount of time into this magazine. The first person I would like to bring up is Sage Thule. Sage Thule is our print coordinator, and if you can all take a look at the beautiful magazine, either on your lap or the lap of the person next to you, we had a lot of help also from another student on this, but Sage is really the mastermind, the visual mastermind behind this whole journal. She just put hours upon hours. She did all the design work herself, which is an impressive thing to behold from a junior in high school. So please do. My editor this year, Ms. Audrey Raj. You guys got to meet Audrey. She was up here helping them see the event this evening, but Audrey is really been involved from day one when we started this magazine last year. She's been a true visionary in this project. She's put in a ton of time just really elevating the quality of what our magazine had to offer this year as she was editor. She's a senior, she's graduating from SLOCA this year. We're so sad to see her go because of the incredible way she's contributed to our high school and especially the Hanging Lantern Review. So please give a round of applause to Audrey.